What is up, everybody, and welcome into the Winge Lounge. Yay! We're right here, guys, obviously with a very special guest I'll get to in a second, but first I have to introduce the man with the boyish charm and the fresh haircut. It's Brendan Vogt.
Got a nice haircut today, guys. I'm out on those bougie salons.
No, you're not.
15 white girls wearing hats.
No, you're not.
You're going to break something and have to pay for it. I went to like a real
barber.
Is this a shameless self-promotion plug right now?
A little bit, yeah.
You get hooked up at the...
So true.
This person had some real like hippie vibes.
Did you get a coupon?
More my speed. I did.
We'll give you 25% off if you name drop us.
That's right.
Over here, I've got D-Line Co. You guys know him as Eric.
Brendan's intro is quite a bit more personal.
It was quite a bit more personal.
Guys, I did not get a haircut. If I did, there'd be no stylist involved. I'd go to a place where I'd walk in.
Great clips.
Right over there.
Clips.
Right over there, great clips.
Sports clips.
Sports clips.
Whatever.
Right.
I mean, like...
And then to my left, guys, I guess it's to your right. My right on the screen. I don't know what it is. The queen herself, the queen of Nuggets Nation.
I wouldn't
Katy
go
Winge.
that far, but thank you for that warm welcome.
Well, first of all, I would go that far, and it's actually my first question I have on here.
So
It's
get comfortable with it.
Yeah, so get comfortable.
First of all, can I just say before we get into it?
Yeah.
I said this on my Instagram story too, but the vibes truly are immaculate here. This is my first time at the DNVR Bar, and I'm always working when the games are taking place, so I haven't been able to come down when Nuggets basketball has been in action, but I can only imagine what it's like here.
Katie.
So eventually, on one of these national games, I'll try and, show up and get the true experience. But guys, congratulations, seriously, on all your success and all this awesome.
Your check's in the mail. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank
Can
you.
I
You're
actually,
welcome.
can I actually compliment us for a minute?
Yeah, you should
Look at
compliment
the way that
ourselves.
Katie is illuminated on screen.
Oh, yeah, the sun
There's
is-
light behind her.
I actually
We've
asked
never framed a guest so
Specifically
well.
for a 1 p.m. showtime, because I knew the sun
That's good. That's really
coming
good.
in right here.
Immaculate. Unbelievable.
Well, I'm glad that you like it when the bar is closed and empty, because it's actually significantly
even
more fun
cooler.
when there are people here that are like excited for the Nuggets game or what have you. One day, maybe not. Maybe you'll never get to be here. I mean,
Maybe I'll come for abs then.
that's a great
Oh.
point.
So-
That's a great point.
I'll figure it out.
Also
Vibes are
immaculate.
really immaculate for the Habs right
Okay.
now. We're presented real quickly by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use promo code DNVR. When you sign up, you get access to all their great bonuses that they have. But this was my first question. So I totally know this because I get it from time to time as well, where people are like just giving you praise and you're just like, all right. And it's like really awkward and uncomfortable. Yeah, thank you. Like we can have a human conversation. But my first question really is this, online Nuggets culture is kind of funny, but you have been anointed the queen of Nuggets online culture, and
I'm honored to serve, to be quite frank with you
But
guys,
do you feel that?
if
Because
that's the case.
I know that like women get like way worse negative things than
What
men
makes
do.
you say that?
Well, I just have seen
He's looked at his own sent messages.
Would you like me to open up my saved
absolutely not.
folder for you?
Absolutely not.
Let's play a game called Travel into the DMs.
Wow, nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have to see the love you get from Reddit and Twitter and every other online forum for you. Just what has it been like becoming the queen of Nuggets Nation?
You keep saying that, and honestly, I'm really I'm so thankful to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And as someone who moved away from her, what she thought really was her home in Minnesota.
Oh, wow.
And now I have
Breaking.
found such a love-filled home in Denver, and so much of that is because of Nuggets Nation and how much you all have embraced me and taken me in and seen me for exactly who I am, the baller tomboy side, but also like the goofy nerdy side
Right.
as well. And I think too, just like I love it so much because I'm just like all of them. Like
Right.
I love the Nuggets. I love basketball, and I'm such a junkie from that aspect. So it's been so fun, and I feel truly like a part of the family.
Yeah.
And I couldn't ask for much more than that.
That was great pandering. That was
And that's
really good.
That's the show today. Like, we're not getting any higher than that.
I like that Katie's like, I nailed that one, and we're immediately like, yeah, bullshit. Okay, yeah, we got it. Second home.
Why?
Like, no, just kidding.
No, I really mean it, you guys.
I think it says something, honestly, about Nuggets Nation a little bit. Like, we're so eager to be led. We have a king. We have a
do have a
queen.
king.
We're just like, looking for anyone to give us guidance or take us anywhere.
There we
Like,
go.
I personally need it. I need a queen in my
You're
life.
sort of the shaman of Nuggets
Oh.
Nation, I would say. Wouldn't you
good.
say?
I like that.
I would say. I've never thought about it, but hard to refute now that it's out there.
It's funny though, because like internet culture, obviously like the digital age was the age we're approaching or maybe already in. It's so unpolished, and it's like, I think, authentic And traditional media is very much like formal and flawless, like we're in our suits and we have our perfect hair and this or that.
Yes.
And even the delivery and things is precise and no ums and anything else. And like we're over here and we're like and likes and like whatever.
I'm like that too.
Well, that's what I was going to say is I think part of what is so appealing about you is you bring the digital style to the mainstream. It's like a nice blend. It's polished but also authentic, and I think is that a deliberate thing? You clearly understand internet culture. Is that something you consciously think about?
No, I mean, to be honest, I just want to be myself, and if people like me for that, great, and if not,
right.
Sorry, I'm not going to make everybody happy. And so I think I am at my best when I'm just free to speak my mind and have fun and be goofy. It's kind of like this Nuggets team, you guys.
I love it. Wow.
When they are just having fun and playing free, when we see some of their best basketball, and I feel like that's the same with me too. I am rigorous in my preparation, but that's so I can get on camera and just talk. Yeah. I do my homework behind the scenes so that, I'm knowledgeable about everything that I'm talking about and I know what's going on, but I also just want to have fun and again, talk about Nuggets basketball.
It's funny that you mentioned the authenticity part because I don't know if you guys saw, I was on Serbian national television this week.
I did see that.
You're
speaking of royalty, what?
No, it's not time. It's for later. That's for later. But you might be an American television star, but myself,
there's a great big world out there.
The Royals overseas are way more important than any Royals here.
I'm an international television star, as it were. No, but somebody asked me on one of the things about has the fan base learned to appreciate Jokic outside of just the basketball, other than and let's be honest, the number one thing I think most people deep down really love about Jokic is that he wins. He was the goofy guy. We just keep losing. It'd be all right, we've had our
right. Two JaVale McGee's on this
exactly,
team.
Exactly. Winner, but I do think that part of what Jokic really connects with is he's pretty authentic. He has that. So I thought it was funny that you brought that up with the team because he's an authentic star.
I don't think he knows how to be anything else.
Yeah, that's
legitimately does not know how to be anything but himself. I think we all strive for that.
Of course. I'm zero of that. Yeah, this is none of who I actually am.
What if Jokic after a game proclaimed that the team was Liddy?
Yeah, that would be a tough one.
That'd be weird, right?
Again, that's MPJ authentically himself
saying
it's Liddy, no filter.
Yeah. For sure.
That's great. That's all we could ask for.
Yeah.
One thing you do a good job of, I think, on the broadcast when I do get to hear it is we're all these sort of internet junkies. And you throw us some bones. You're very in tune with that internet culture, the Mikes, the Munders. You talk about just being yourself. Being in tune with that stuff, Reddit, being online, is that just you or is that an extra effort you make to just sort of have your ear to the streets,
A little bit of both. I feel really fortunate that I'm you mentioned this digital era. I feel like I have this connection where I can actually, connect with Nuggets fans directly. And so I make it a conscious effort to do that and to kind of get a pulse on what's trending or what people like and a lot of that too. But I'm also a fan. So I latch onto that too. I think that those things are awesome. I mean, I jumped on the Mike train as soon as I possibly could because again, that's totally Michael Porter Jr.'s personality. And if you can work that in, I feel like that I reach a demographic through altitude that maybe is less touched than some other people. And
very untouched.
Well, and I'm young. So the people who are on social media, who are on those websites, Reddit, that type of thing, I feel like I'm their liaison in a lot of ways. And so yes, it's a conscious effort, but I also just love being a part of it and seeing what's going on.
Let's go.
So here's another. We can move on now from our praise of Katie.
I was going to say this cannot be the whole show. I will get up and leave right now.
I want to know. I've played basketball I'm playing tomorrow for the second time in 18 months.
Can we get tickets? Or
How do you feel?
Will it be on, should not mention.
Will it be on Serbian national television?
It will not be on Serbian national television. Honestly, the only one emotion I feel, fear, and it's the weirdest thing ever. I should be excited to go play, and I'm literally afraid. I have anxiety.
Yep.
Have you been playing? I mean, this whole year's been so weird for everyone.
Yeah, no, I have not been playing. Everybody always asks me if I'm hey, why don't you join a pickup league? And I'm well, one, in a typical year, I'm gone all the time because
yeah.
I'm traveling with the team. And so I'm like, it would make no sense if I could just jump in and be a sub. That's great. And then I have been so cautious because I have been in the red zone at Ball Arena that I like really have limited interactions with people. Now I'm luckily vaxxed, so I can do a little bit more. And we do have a gym, like a court at my gym, and so I'll get shots up still, and like I feel pretty cool getting out there and shooting and
getting
and doing
shots
all that.
left
I know,
and
getting
right.
shots
Vax.
up. Yeah,
Jumpers.
absolutely.
All right,
Let's
Eric, take a couple minutes off here if you don't mind.
Mid-season form.
But I haven't played 5-on-5 or anything like actual live basketball, which I really miss.
It's like they say, like riding a bike. I was bricky when I went and played the one time. Like my shot felt so like I might as well have been shooting left-handed. It felt so weird. And I'm like, it's depressing, man.
Well, that's the thing about that expression. They don't tell you like you'll get back on the bike, but you'll definitely be worse at riding the bike.
I was just gonna say maybe don't ride any bikes.
Well, it's actually the funny thing is my daughter learned to ride at 3. I was very proud. Ride her bike at 3. This year forgot.
That's amazing.
She remembered though. Like we had to. It took her a little while, but it wasn't literally like getting on a bike. She got on and was like, I don't know how to do this anymore.
That
Like,
phrase is a lie.
it is a lie. How much do you draw from your playing experience when you analyze the games? I mean, I'm guessing it's similar. The further I get from mine, the less I'm just like, I don't know, man.
Well, but you also have a foundation that you built that just kind of sticks with you. So every single time I'm talking about basketball, I'm drawing from the times when I've played, just because I'm thinking of it with that hat on, I think, more than anything else, of like, what was it like for me? How did I experience that? What are they feeling compared to what I might be feeling in that situation? And then just like, the X's and O's are pretty much ingrained in me at this point. Like basic sets, what are defenses trying to do, different covers in ball screen situations, and then what is the offense trying to do to, take advantage of different situations. So, I mean, I don't consciously like go, what was it like when I was playing at Illinois State and how can that translate? You know what I mean? But it's like, at the end of the day, basketball is basketball.
Yeah.
And so it's like in my blood and I can't help it.
People don't know Katie has some Mamba mentality. I've only played with her one time, but she may or may not have like kicked the ball down the court or something.
Like a little bit competitive. I blame my parents. It's fine.
It was the least competitive environment too, is what was so funny about it.
That's when you lost to Harrison Wind at the
honestly, thank you for bringing that back up.
You didn't throw the ball into the
Harrison,
stands,
congratulations, by the way. I saw you got engaged. That's the only time that I'll be nice to you because just brought that up.
There we
So that's big. Yeah. Congratulations. But I can't not be. It like the media, especially like when I go against like Vic.
Yeah.
And Vic talks.
Vic is.
And so that just gets my blood boiling, and I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not going to lose to him. But he also is like, no, I'm like actually good, and I'm like, are you though? But he like is sort of good, and so. What a weird dynamic.
The smoothest burn ever, man. That was so great.
I love
and he actually is kind of good. He actually is okay.
That's how you would like define him, though. Like when someone's like, "So can Vic ball?" and you're like, "Well, kind of."
He does. He has some Faku in him, though. He definitely is.
Sure.
He flies around.
He's fit.
Yes, but I definitely am fiery.
I love that every like older guy that is just a try hard now immediately plays like Faku. George Karl plays like Faku. Vic plays like Faku. Everyone that was just like a hustling white guy, they're like, hey, he probably was like a little Faku in him. Huh?
Did you watch the play-in games last night?
No.
You didn't miss anything.
Yeah,
I heard that. Yeah,
I have been so excited for these.
I watched the scores and then I was like, no.
Both not that different from just watching the games.
Yeah,
really.
honestly, yeah. Especially that first game was like 26-4, and then it didn't get closer. It was kind of that. So it was ugly, man. But I just wonder, what are your thoughts on the play-in?
So I think it's really good for the league.
Yeah.
I do. I think in terms of like coverage and interest and getting this like March Madness style is obviously going to get people more interested in what's going on. But also I think from a sports gambling perspective, there's like a different level to it. You know what I mean though? Like I think that's becoming so much more of sports culture now. And I think maybe the NBA is trying to tie into that just a little bit in a variety of other ways as well. But as a play, I like what Coach Malone said about it. If you're within a certain number of games back, then have the play-in. But if you're like 5 or 6 games back and we're forcing a 9 and a 10 to be like, there's no reason for that.
I don't think that'll happen though. I know it happened like in the bubble, but that was because teams weren't planning all season for a play-in.
Yep.
I think what creates that kind of, if you look at the standings, every tier, the top 2 seeds were right next to each other. The 3-4 were right next to it. Like that naturally happens over the course of a season. So I get that that fear, but I also think it's not going to happen because if you are within striking distance of the play-in, you are going to continue to try to play hard and get
true.
it. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. I just don't think it is going to be an issue going forward. That being said, I was so bummed for last night. I've been hyping it up.
Okay,
I've been
let's
telling
talk about
people.
it after tonight, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
It
very
should be.
different.
Maybe not. I'm not
What if it's
optimistic
also
about the
terrible
Warriors'
tonight?
chances.
Is this like remember how we were like, oh man, we got to get these games in before Christmas. We have to
Yeah,
get
it's kinda
the
like
season
it.
back for Christmas, and it was the worst slate of games I've ever witnessed in my
Yeah.
entire life. The
really
Nuggets got
was.
And now
absolutely
everybody's
annihilated.
injured, probably because we chose to start
Yeah.
There's
the
no
season
probably.
so
That's
much
exactly what
earlier.
happened for that and for those most terrible of games.
Yeah.
I do think for the play-in, it's cool that we're all talking about
So true,
more things
yeah.
and more teams at the end of the season. That's the goal.
Yeah.
And in that sense, mission accomplished. However, what it did not fix was like how the quality of games over the last 2 weeks of the season. I'm not putting
It did, though. I think it did.
You think so?
That last day sucked, and maybe there's no way to fully change like whether teams are going to try or not.
But less teams tanking.
But
right?
less teams and it was only that last day. Like if you think about the week leading up to the last day, there were a lot of very competitive games that had a lot of implications.
Fair enough.
14 of the 15 games played on that final Sunday had playoff implications.
Yeah.
So whether or not they chose to tank or not, everybody was paying attention,
Right. It's true.
which is what the league wants. Like we were watching OKC
Yes.
and the Clippers trying to figure out who would suck
My
less.
favorite. It was honestly the only competitive game that day because every other game had a team trying to win versus a team trying to lose, and that team was the only one that had two teams on equal footing, both trying to lose.
Do we actually know who sucked less during that
We
game?
do.
Do we?
I mean-
It was Oklahoma City.
I mean, they won, but did they suck less?
Man, they took off Theo Maledon because he was on fire. They took him out of the
Took
game.
him out.
And I'm telling you, if you look at those last possessions, like the ball was bouncing and no one was going for the rebound on either team. It was incredible.
You just you can't make it up.
You really
You
can't.
really can't. No one could have drawn up that scenario at the end of the season. So is it good basketball? No. But do they care? Probably not because people are watching. So,
It's a step up from
I mean,
where
the
we were.
playoffs is where you're going to get your good basketball.
Fair
That's
enough.
so true. Let's take our first break. On the other side, though, we did have.
Finally.
Oh no.
Oh, do you have to get ready? All right, I'll talk for a while. Vote's never ready for his job.
Unbelievable.
That's not like
You know what though? Vogt approaches his job like a young Faku with a lot of
Is
heart. and
everyone
effort.
compared to Faku around here?
I was
No,
gonna
I'm
say
just
more
5'7".
like
Oh,
a
okay.
like a young bull. I would say.
Come on.
Low blow. That was a
we
low
went
blow to
there.
two people, man.
I
That was
know.
really bad of me.
And one of us is actually a rotation player. Like, come on.
I'm gonna on the other side though. We're gonna talk about today's media availability, and we're gonna start talking Nuggets Blazers in that series. Very interesting series. But first, Vote. Tell us who's sponsored today's show.
Well, let's talk about Breckenridge Brewery, the official
please.
beer of DNVR.
Oh,
By the
speaking
way,
of which.
regular seltzers are being sold in the bar.
Ba-ba-ba-ba.
You guys know we love our Breck beers and our seltzies. But
Okay,
when we
thank
love
you.
even more this summer is the fact that Breckenridge Brewery is teaming up with the National Parks Conservation Association this year. The tragic fires in Colorado were absolutely devastating for so many last year, and this is one of the many reasons that Breck is donating 1% of all their profits this summer to the National Parks Conservation Association. That's right, if you buy 1 pint or pack of Breck brews, you are donating 1% to our great outdoors. We'll be hosting fun events at the DNVR Bar to promote this awesome collaboration. You can come down, drink a Breck brew or seltzer, and go away with some awesome
Not just a
swag
seltzer.
from
Not
our
just a
friends
seltzer,
at
Vote.
Breakthrough.
There's something else here. Look at this.
Welcome,
Hang on a
The new
Michaela.
Breckenridge Brewery hard lemonade. Look at this strawberry lemonade.
That one.
Just in
Look at
time
this.
for summer.
Look at this.
I'm so excited for this. Is my first taste.
You could also enter to
We'll
win a
drink 6 or 7 of these during the rest of the
$30,000.
show.
You can also enter to win a $30,000 skateboard trailer if you head to their website and enter to win. Just go to
Fantastic.
breckbrew.com/ingoodcompany.
That's a good question.
That's breckbrew.com/ingoodcompany for details on
yeah,
winning the
4%.
$30,000 escape pod trailer. Good luck. Be sure to tag us and our friends at Breck Brew when you submit your entry to win. If you haven't had Breck Brew, check the Breck Beer locator. It'll tell you where to get it. Or if you want to make it even easier, just come hang out with us. We got all that good stuff in the bar.
Let's go.
All right, it is also time to talk
My
about...
goodness, man. That was this is refreshing.
Dude, I can only describe myself currently as refreshed.
I would too. I'm very refreshed.
The only
The only adjective.
I'm like a young
Really
Faku
wise.
when it comes to the refreshment.
I've de-aged 3 years drinking this. It's incredible.
So as you guys can see, I'm well groomed today. As you can't see, I'm well groomed today. Manscaped is releasing
can
the
see.
Lawnmower
I'll tell you.
4.0.
Oh my.
Join over 2 million men worldwide who trusted Manscaped with this. We've got an exclusive offer for you: 20% off, free worldwide shipping. to all of you, our international fans, with the code DNVR at manscaped.com. Lawnmower 4.0. It's got a fancy light. Turns out that's important. You don't know till you know, but it does. You can use it in the shower. A lot of different settings. Very hard to cut yourself with this. Katie, do you want to take the rest? So make sure you check out Manscaped. Use code DNVR to get 20% off worldwide shipping. There's a lot you can get. Nose trimmers, boxers, ball deodorant. And that's it. That's the reason.
Let me just say, they're selling it and then they're selling it.
Really
which one was that? Which one was that?
Yeah, I'm not sure which one I did.
Oh my. All right, so the Nuggets spoke to the media today. It is very refreshing, I'm telling you. The Nuggets spoke to the media today for the first time in preparation for the Trailblazers. We got to hear from Michael Malone, Monte Morris, and Michael Porter Jr. These two knuckleheads. We're going to have a conversation here, I guess, because we did our jobs today. Not everybody did their job. But is there anything you took away from today? The first media availability sometimes is not great.
Yeah, and it's not so much about the details of like the preparation. It's more just like, hey, what have you done the past 2 days, and what are you going to do the next 2 days, and how are you feeling about the series so far, or heading into it, I guess. I asked Coach Malone, like, how much do you think about the 2 years ago playoff? And that answer sort of surprised me a little bit, because he brought it up voluntarily. It was like, we think about obviously two different teams, and now. But that still kind of has a bad taste in our mouth. And he specifically so he said, no, we're not going to think about it, two different teams. But then he was like, but I do think our guys that were there still remember them celebrating on our home floor. And I think that's pretty much all you need to know about.
That's as much as you'll get out of a player or coach. Like, players are never going to be like, I lose sleep over to this or that. I do think Michael Malone thinks about it, though. I don't think he thinks about it until you play each other. But I think the moment you play, it's like, okay, Portland, there's like, I want this one a little extra. A little extra.
Dude.
Is there any way, I mean, you guys have played basketball at higher levels than Eric and I.
That's not,
I mean,
that's true.
Is there any way that doesn't seep in and permeate your mindset if it's a team? Like, they have such... obviously different players now, but it's not just that series. Portland's sort of been a collision path with these two teams. Is there any way to compartmentalize that?
This is a rivalry to me.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's more than just that playoff added fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
But it's always scrappy. Like, it's not personal, but there are so many stories between players on this team and teams getting traded and teams like being in separate cities, and I just feel like it's always going to kind of be that scratch and claw type competitive environment when these two teams face off. And so, I'm expecting nothing short of that. So I don't think it's necessarily that playoff series. I think it's more just like, look, we know Portland, we play them all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Division.
Even preseason, as he brought up today, like
exactly. So I think it's going to be playoff basketball, but maybe even one step higher than that, just because they know each other as well as they do.
I think the Nurkic factor honestly plays a part in this too.
It's
I mean,
huge.
look, it's been a long time. I don't think that either of those guys think about this on a day-to-day basis. Like, I think it's far enough removed from that there's no longer a like bad blood there. But when you do match up and it's like now one of us has to go home, I definitely think there's something to there's a little extra sting to whichever person or team has to go down. And I think the same is true for Carmelo Anthony, and we talked about this with George Karl. I don't know that Nuggets fans hold a grudge against Carmelo Anthony 10 years going on. Like, it's so long in the past. Half the Nuggets fans that love this team didn't even follow the team back then. But there's, even if you don't think about or feel those same emotions, you're still like, yeah, but we don't want to lose to him.
Dude, like, when you're not presented with it, and you just think about it in the abstract, like, is Carmelo Anthony bothered by the idea of the Denver Nuggets? It's like, no, he's got a whole life in New York.
Yeah,
he's got a whole life that has happened. But then when you are presented with it, with the hyper focus that comes from a playoff series, you absolutely conjure old emotions. Like, that's what happens. Like, you don't expect to feel a certain way, and then you all of a sudden you do it. I guarantee this is a huge deal for him. I guarantee this is a huge deal for Nurkic. There's bad blood just because they're division rivals. There's bad blood because they went through that insane playoff series, 2 years ago, and the Nuggets obviously feel like they left a little bit out there. So, I mean, all of those storylines are completely legitimate.
I think it's interesting that Michael Malone has downplayed, the strategic aspects of this series because they played so much. He's talked about there's no surprises. We all know each other. But I kind of feel like that maybe... like he has to say that. But I feel like there is actually a lot of sort of gamesmanship and strategery
Wow.
Yeah,
some
I like
strategery that has to
it.
go into the
Yes.
series from a coaching standpoint that I think is going to be very interesting to play out, in part because both teams are different and forced to play different styles. And I think figuring out those styles, both what you want to do and how to stop the other team from doing what they want to do, is going to play a big part in the series.
I thought Matt Moore's question was really good. Like, how much do you anticipate them changing things up right away versus them just being the team that you've always known?
Yeah.
And then like making changes or adjustments after the fact. And the truth is, we'll never really know. Coaches would never tell us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, how good of a coach?
Like,
You'd be like, well, here's what I'm going to do.
Here's what I'm thinking.
Since you asked.
And not even like a little
one's
hint
ever asked me
or
before.
anything. But I'll be interested to see. Like, is anything different in game one
Right.
for either of these two teams, or do you just go out there and play, your style of basketball and then have the other team adjust depending on who wins?
I also thought it was interesting today, Michael Porter talking about, Seth Partnow wrote something in The Athletic. I had him on Locked On Nuggets earlier this week talking about how Michael Porter is a perfect example of how a player's production changes based on their role, and how often we grade a player by their production. Like, he scores this many points and does this thing and this thing. Michael Porter was one of the best rebounders from the forward position in the NBA when Murray was healthy. He's moved to a more high-profile role, and not only has his shot profile changed, fewer shots along the baseline and in the corner, more shots above the break and from the elbows, and fewer rebounds. So now he's not a great rebounder. And he actually addressed this today, and I thought that was really interesting, that for him it's such a conscious thing of like, hey, man, I'm doing something different now.
Well, his awareness
Yes.
of like, okay, if I'm the third guy, I mean, Jokic and Murray are going to be the ones having the first two options. If they're shooting, I'm going to crash and find easier ways to score that way. Or if Jamal's driving, I'm going to relocate on the three-point line and I'm going to get those, just step right into my shot, pure three-point shots.
Right.
Now we're seeing him adjust, which I do think it says a lot about how much he's grown already.
Totally.
The fact that he's producing at the level that he is, and teams are paying so much more attention to him, and he's been able to make that adjustment so quickly. But you're going to see teams get more physical with him. You're going to see teams potentially like send a double team or guard him differently off of screens or try and make him get different looks. And how is he going to, continue to adjust to that in the playoffs? I think the fact that he knew, okay, and I'm sure the coaches talked to him about this, but like, you're going to be defended in a different way and we need you to do more, but it's going to be harder for you to do more, and you still need to produce. Right. And he did that.
Right.
So again, we're challenging you once again, show us what you're made of. And I think he's going to do that in a really exciting way.
Yeah, I think so too. He's the most interesting, him and Jokic, I mean, clearly the most interesting players here. And I think maybe Michael Porter even more so, just because we haven't seen it, like with so much with Michael Porter, we haven't seen it. And we've seen it now for 2 months in the regular season, but now you go to the postseason where he's going to get all this attention. I'm so fascinated by it. Portland fans, by the way, very concerned about Michael Porter.
Good. They should be.
They should be.
Michael Porter Jr. is a transcendent talent. It's just the question is, can he perform under pressure? And we just haven't been able to produce artificially the pressure that he's going to feel in the playoffs. But like, they should absolutely be scared of the second most efficient shooter of all time.
I'm betting that he can. To be honest, 2 years ago when I first met him or interviewing him or whatever, and even just watching how he carries himself, I would have guessed like, oh, this guy won't handle pressure well. Maybe whatever. You almost think, is this guy a phony or whatever? And you were talking about, I think he's actually authentic. You just have to kind of get to know oh, he's authentic in a way I wasn't expecting, so it felt different to me. But I think he actually is a more tough-minded person than his reputation suggests, and that's why I'm so excited for this challenge, because if he is tough-minded, I do think he's going to perform well.
He's matured a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys agree with that, just from like a mental, physical, emotional standpoint. And I would argue that when we first were talking to him, he wasn't as authentic.
Okay, there you go.
Now we're getting to see who he is because he is more comfortable. He has more experience, both in terms of interacting with the public and the media and in who he is on the basketball court. So when you think about like, we always talk about like, oh, he's an AAU made kid.
Yep.
I actually think that helps him. Like, I think that spotlight and having all of these coaches surrounding games that are being played and having the pressure. I mean, I guess his is a little bit different because his dad was a Division I coach, so he kind of had that in his back pocket. But like, having very important basketball people taking in your games and watching that happen, you were expected to perform at a really high level, and you were expected to be a diamond in high pressure situations. So I truly think he's put in a lot of work to make himself a little bit more humble in some ways too, of like, okay, I'm not the go-to guy. How can I still help, and how can my talents still be important and highlighted?
I think life and experience does that to anybody. Just like the bigger your world gets, the smaller your ego gets, because you're like, oh wow, I thought I was, I thought I was this, but the world is so much bigger.
I mean, and not only that, like his whole life to this point is just been about overcoming adversity.
Yeah.
I mean, he started off
over the last few years. It wasn't necessarily
as basketball
that.
Life,
the last 4 years, 5 years, whatever.
His basketball life specifically, like he just keeps getting dealt difficult hands, like his back, his
role on the team,
like
drop foot.
His drop foot. I mean, and he just keeps overcoming them and building on what I think we're all picking up on is just like his character.
Yeah.
And like that is really what it comes down to when the chips are down, is like, what kind of guy is this? Like, can you trust him? Does he have what it takes? Is he going to wilt? And I mean, we don't know, but I mean, the signs are pointing in the right direction.
One of the things maybe you don't have a full appreciation for is we have not been inside the locker room or around the guys in any capacity. And I know you even have limitations of access, this or that, but still significantly more. And so it's funny when you talk about this as a growth. So much of that is things you take from observation when you're just around, not even talking, but just kind of seeing things. And this year, one of the things that I don't think even people understand is that we're just not there. And it's been almost his entire career, he has been behind the glass window, right? Or via Zoom. And so it's kind of interesting. I feel like I know him so little compared to maybe what I knew Jokic 3 years in.
But I think what Katie just said is the most important thing we've learned about him. And he said as much, I think, 2 weeks ago now, when he was sort of asked about how he responds to guys getting in his face, whether that's a coach or a teammate or whatever. He is built for this. We all, for whatever reason, I think, assumed maybe he wouldn't be. And everyone was really worried about the handling of him. But he said time and time and again, I am used to this pressure.
Right.
I am used to coaches paying a lot of attention to me and trying to get the best out of me. So it's nothing new for him, even if it's at this NBA level. Mike's been preparing for this mentally,
he really has,
since he was a child.
Yep.
Did you see this MVP season coming from Jokic? And when did you first think, here's the MVP?
Love this question. I don't know if I can put a stamp on like when I was like, this is what's happening. Maybe All-Star-ish.
The All-Star break this year?
Like post All-Star.
Interesting.
That's a guess though.
Okay.
Like shot
He
in
didn't
the
wake
dark.
up one day like, Jokic just might be the MVP.
You guys, people are like, oh, it's, if you don't know, you don't know, because like if you don't consistently watch the Nuggets or know Jokic, you watch him and you're like, wow, that's weird that he just had another triple-double.
Right,
and how
right.
did he do that?
Sure.
And how does he make this team go? I truly, and I mean this in like the depth of my core, I am surprised by him every single night.
Yeah.
Like every single night. And so for me, I guess comparatively speaking, that's kind of when I was like, oh, he really could be the MVP this season, because his game is at a whole new level. His stats and production are at a whole new level. He's taken this Nuggets team to a whole new level. But then all the other guys in the NBA didn't do that.
Right, yeah.
And so to me, I was like, no, he really truly is the front runner of being the most valuable.
Right.
With guys having injury, guys taking time off. I get it. It's been a condensed season, especially for the teams that were in the bubble long term. But what he has done, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
It really does. And it's every single game where I'm like, I can't believe I get to watch this man play basketball.
I didn't see it coming into the season, but I mean, I was like famously, I think it was game 4 or 5 where I put the public bet out and I was like, man, this is great value.
Famously.
And of course,
In Serbia,
famously,
maybe.
very
Was that
famously.
when you put the Kobe tweet out and you said, remember this?
No. That was very recent. That was only like 6 weeks ago.
Okay.
I think this was honestly
Did
game
you just
3 or
start following
4.
Adam recently?
No.
This was game 3 or 4 of the season. Jokic was just, I thought it only took a few games. Maybe it was 8 games. I don't remember, but it only took a few games where it was like, wow, Jokic is always great, but he's kind of at a different level this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that he was going to be MVP. I just thought like, this is actually an MVP caliber player now, whereas in years past he could reach those for moments, but I was like,
Yeah,
no.
the consistency.
And scoring and just the aggressive confidence, all of
Team
it.
record, too. Like, it took about till
Well,
halfway
that's
to
true.
the year
Yeah.
that I was
Yeah.
confident voters would see him that way.
Yeah, because a lot of what we're talking about is not purely merit based. It's like whether or not the larger NBA was willing to accept that Nikola Jokic is in fact the most valuable player in the league.
We can say.
Important note from
Yeah, I was going to bring this up myself.
Then a month or so later, Adam famously cashed out his bet. Look, these soft paper hands I have. These soft paper hands.
If you go back,
I can't help it.
If you go back and watch, I mean, we were talking about Jokic as a potential MVP candidate in our preview series. Like we all sort of felt like he was going to take this leap.
But MVP candidate is such a funny word
because it's like
in the conversation.
In the conversation is the phrase. Like anybody has a good
De'Aaron
game.
Fox in the conversation.
The conversation's always like, is De'Aaron Fox the MVP? No. That's the conversation.
But I think in the preseason,
but he's in it.
In the preseason, I think we thought Jokic would be in the conversation. I don't think we thought he would be the MVP. And it's funny, we now know with how the conversation went that Jokic, I think, would have been the best player if everyone stayed healthy, but probably wouldn't have won it. So that would have come to fruition. But how it broke out, he's the, I think, near unanimous MVP.
And I think the last couple seasons we've been fighting for him to be in the conversation.
Right?
That has been.
Me and you have been doing this.
Yes.
When people are finally
100%.
listening to us.
We've been talk about Jokic being the MVP, which I recently discovered advanced search on Twitter. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
So shout out to someone who led me in that direction. And I had a tweet from 2016 that was Nikola Jokic should be in the MVP conversation. And I was like, good job, Katie. Way to be on the right track.
I did the same thing. I went back. I'm like, how much can I be patting myself on the back?
Yeah.
And after the advanced search Twitter, I was like, slam.
But this season it became, he's putting up the numbers that are similar and comparatively speaking to MVPs. And who else is in that MVP conversation? And then it was no one is better than he is.
Right.
And no one's doing what he's doing and taking their team to the level that he's taking them.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I know you mentioned, the teams that were in the bubble.
Yeah.
On it. He was one of them, one of those deep, long runs. And those same circumstances applied to him. And, I mean, it is playing all 72 this season with the MVP. I get why that's important to him because, to me, it's among the most impressive features of what he did, despite that annoying conversation about, he's just winning an attendance trophy. I don't care about all that. I'm impressed by what he did.
Yeah, for sure. What did you know about Facu prior to the start of this season?
I watched highlights on him and was like, man, this kid can pass.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, he's 30? And then I was like, he has quite a bit of experience. And then actually one of the guys I went to college with, he played at Illinois State and then played at Indiana. He played in Europe alongside him in one of the teams, and he was like, no, this guy's the real deal. And I was like, we'll see. He's smaller. I don't know if he'll be able to adjust to the speed of the NBA game. I'm excited. Obviously I'm so excited to see what his basketball IQ can do at the NBA level, and he has blown my expectation out of the water. And I had no idea how hard he played.
Yeah.
I knew he was crafty. I knew he was a very smart player. I knew that he could put together highlight reel type passes and make his teammates better. But I had no idea defensively what the Nuggets would be getting in terms of the pest that he is and how much he annoys superstars on other teams. Yeah. And I also I think he has adjusted so much quicker than I thought that he would. And that speaks a lot to his maturity too.
I think the passing part of this is funny because it's the part of his game that has least shined. I mean, he makes some great passes, but it's he runs the pick and roll. He runs an offense well, but the fancy passing, he's got 7 of those this year.
We're a little desensitized.
Yeah, so true.
Especially with
I was just going to say, I can think of at least 7 right now.
Really?
I think, someone will correct me here, but some folks DM me, the Nuggets, I think, had 4 of the top 10 assists of the year.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
And 3 of them, I think, were Facu's, or 2 were.
In the last game, I think it was the one where
Really?
he put
that one's incredible.
You know what
that might be the best one. That might be my favorite one.
Spin guys.
Huh?
Plus,
2 of those.
a couple of the passes, I think, and I'm a little bit embarrassed to say this, but it also matters who you embarrass. It does.
Yeah.
The one against Kuzma where it went right by his ear, and I'm like, you know what? That's better because it's against Kuzma.
It is funny too how he just doesn't move it. It just gives him a little haircut.
Yes.
You're right. It's against Kuzma. That's hilarious. The spinner
makes it better.
True. I'm not trying to say he's not a great passer. I'm just saying when I first heard of him and people talked about him, I was thinking, Teodosic or Jason Williams, a guy that's going to be nonstop doing some goofy stuff, and sometimes it's cool. But to me, I think of him now as he's a defensive player first. That's the first thing I think of,
which is
and
hilarious.
an intensity guy, and then he's a good floor general, and then occasionally he makes some fancy fancy passes, but
you know how
he's not out here elbow passing every time down the court.
You know how I feel about that stuff. How sure are we that's a good play versus just something
Yeah.
these guys wanted to
Something
do
for the
in the middle of
gram.
the game. I feel like Facu's actually a little more oriented towards winning the basketball game,
Yeah.
right? Whereas Teodosic just wants to put the ball around people's heads and stuff.
Yeah, it's what's true with Jokic, because you remember 2 years ago against the Blazers when he did the nutmeg pass. The reason he did it is because it was the only angle he had. He wasn't trying to get fancy. It was just he just instinctively was like, boom, there you go. So,
and Facu's had how many nutmegs this year? Like 4.
Yeah.
But
so
I do.
true.
I think it's the same thing, though. I think that's the only passing lane he has available.
Yeah.
It's true.
And so that's
It's
what
so
he goes
true.
for.
It's so true. It's not for show. It's
They'll never see
because he has to.
down here.
Yeah.
That's all that's available.
What's the biggest? If you can nail this down to one thing, what's the biggest key to the Nuggets Blazers series? This is like a
Please
really
don't make fun of
open-ended
me.
one.
Making shots.
Yeah. Wow. That's why she's the
Please
queen,
make
guys.
more shots than the other team.
Yeah. It's a good one.
This is why I
Basketball's
have
simple,
the
you guys.
analyst title.
Is there somebody in particular that you think that you're, or people in particular?
Listening to you guys talk about, okay, what, like Nikola Jokic and MPJ, those are like very obvious keys to me. It's like the third, who else is going to produce?
Yeah.
And is it going to be one guy? Is it going to be, are we going to see like brilliance from Aaron Gordon from a production standpoint? Are we going to see Paul Millsap come in and have like some really high producing games? Or is it going to be like a collective thing? Is Austin Rivers going to have 20 points in a game or whatever? Is it going to be a full collective second unit effort, or is it going to be one or two guys being superstars on any given night? I don't know the answer to that, but you have, in order for the Nuggets to win, you have to have Jokic, you have to have MPJ at like the peaks of their level and playing at their highest, and then everybody else kind of has to trickle in behind them, and then defending the three. I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, but like to me, if Dame gets hot from three, that provides so much more than just points for
true.
Portland. It's
It's a
like a
psychological
momentum
edge,
changer,
yeah.
and then he thinks he can start launching from the minute he walks in the door, and he truly can. So that's I don't want to be in that battle. That's a tough line to walk if you're the Nuggets.
I think shooting is a big one for sure. Like, I do think it'll probably have to be somebody different. I don't know if there's a guy on the team that's like a four times he's going to go off from three. So you need a little Austin Rivers here. You need a Jermichael Green here. You need a Monte Morris, on this one. What about if we go to the other side, Portland, their X factor? Who's the guy that scares you? So we got Damian Lillard, scares you. You could maybe even say CJ. Let's throw him out. He scares you.
Definitely.
He sent us home last time.
Yeah, it was the CJ series.
Collect Carmelo.
Yeah.
Their bench versus our bench.
Yeah.
I think that will be the second units, and the way that they battle will be important. But I also think like the bigs and the way they offensive rebound. Like if you get out rebounded in these games, you're probably not going to win.
I also think Norm Powell is a guy who we might see some big swings throughout this series.
Yeah.
Like he's an all around consistent player, but he's a guy that could get you 25 in a playoff game.
Totally.
But maybe not every night. So how that plays out, how Denver deals with him.
Yeah.
And then also, Portland 29th in defensive rating, I believe. Not great. Robert Covington did have a good individual defensive season, and he will take the MPJ assignment. And so maybe from a Portland perspective, they have some confidence in that as well. How well Covington plays on that end, I think will factor into this.
I think Nurkic is a big X factor in this because he was injured for a lot of the year, and it's always like very personal for he and Jokic. Obviously, there is a geographical thing. They were on the same team, and they couldn't. The fact that Jokic got promoted above Nurkic sent him out. I guarantee he's going to be motivated. I don't know if he's got it to be able to hang with Jokic, but he's definitely going to give it his all. Cantor, for as annoying and obnoxious as he was last time, he was an X factor.
I actually like Cantor's game is the funny part.
I
like post players.
Yeah, I mean, as long as his game doesn't include his personality, I agree with you. But I don't know. I think that there's something in there because I think that they are very cognizant of Nikola Jokic, and they're going to do whatever they can to try and counter him.
Yeah. Nurk had some really nice things to say about Joker. Did you guys hear that?
They always do. They always talk. They shake hands.
I think they're legitimately friends, though. I really do.
Yeah.
Like, as much as it's been kind of oddly tense at times, from afar. I mean, for Nurk doesn't have to come out and publicly say he thinks he's the MVP and that they still kind of talk, and it's been weird with COVID and all of that stuff, but he did.
Yeah.
Jokic is so above all our petty BS.
100%.
He's above everybody's petty
He's the
BS.
king, dude.
He's like, I just go out and play basketball and
and we're like, tell him he sucks.
Yeah.
No, I won't do it.
Tell Nurkic to go home at halftime, Jokic.
All right, we'll take our final break. On the other side, though, we got to get to 2 games. Sadly, I think we might have to cut out one of our fun games, but we are going to play an over-under game and a very fun game I'm excited to debut at the end to close out the show.
We have to do the one that you made me draw the head for.
We're doing that one.
Okay, good.
I cut out the other one. But first, Vogt. How quickly can you read our ads?
Illegal Pizza's back, and we are so pumped to have them on board again.
Hell yeah, I ate there yesterday.
I was
ate there today.
Well, what'd you get there?
I got the bowl, and then I get the queso with the bowl because their queso is great.
But like what bowl do you get, bro?
Oh, it's something different every time. I look at it and decide.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, well, they got their sound check promotion. As you know, it's an ongoing promotion at all locations as it offers a free draft beer or house marg with the purchase of an adult entree when the guest shows a same-day ticket to any event. If you're going to a game, show up at Illegal Pete's, let them know you went, let them know you're going, they'll hook you up with a free drink. That seems like a good deal to me. They've also launched their party margs during the pandemic. What's a party marg, Eric? It's 32 ounces of house margarita.
Wow.
That's 4 times the size of their normal margarita.
That sounds like a party to me.
That is a party. 32 ounces of margarita. It's like
42 or 32?
32.
Are you guys interested in
like it matters because honestly,
I
like
know.
22 is probably my
32
limit.
though?
Yeah, those
The last 10
are
is just the nail in the
It's
coffin.
32 ounces.
Wow, it's a lot of margarita.
That's a lot of
Quick question. Are you guys interested in going to a party I'm throwing shortly after this?
Also, the queso. Apparently, you guys like to know that they have really good queso.
They do have really good queso.
Check them out. What
Gringo
else, though,
queso, but it's good.
am I supposed to talk about? Oh, our presenting sponsor, of
DraftKings
this podcast,
Sportsbook.
DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. It's
My bet is
playoffs
in, by the
time.
way. Just pound the over or whatever.
It is playoffs time, big stakes, bigger promotions. It's time to hammer the over and score some cash. That's what Adam just so eloquently articulated. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving you a chance to lower the over-under on a featured playoff game. All players who place a bet on the featured basketball game will have a hand in lowering that over-under. That's right, for every 1,500 players who bet the over on the select game, the over-under will drop by 1 point. Guys, these
It's going to be down to 0, I'm telling you.
These are no-brainers. Like, you have to get
We all have to come together. This is like a, a GameStop situation. We all bet on it, and then we all win if we all do it.
And then we don't then cash out, Adam. Just
What?
Yeah, then you have
we
to
don't all
hold.
bet and then you cash out a week later just to lay the groundwork.
Someone just commented and said Katie equals tiny queen. Is there a story there, or is?
Well, Faku's the tiny king.
Oh, okay, thank you. I'm like, I don't know what that
Katie,
means,
not
and
that
I'm
tiny,
not
though.
that tiny.
How sweet of you to say.
Every better who hammers that over in the feature game helps to lower the over-under. The best part is that even as the line lowers, the odds remain at even money. They are begging you guys to take their money. And they're safe, secure, reliable, so you can deposit, withdraw your funds at your convenience, and you know that they're not messing around with your hard-earned cash. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code DNVR when you sign up to hammer the over. Again, for every 15 or 100 people that bet the over in a future game, the line decreases by 1 point. It will be 0 at 1 point. That's promo code DNVR for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only.
People are
Restrictions
clamoring
apply.
for Rocky.
Max wager $25 once per customer. Offer ends 5/23/21. See DraftKings.com/sportsbooks for details. Gambling problem.
Sorry, I looked away at that.
Call
time.
1-800-522-4700. And wait, there's one more. There's
Kale, there
one
is a game
more.
we do, I think, need to get Katie loosened up for the game.
Look, you guys know how much I love Strava Craft Coffee.
Terrible.
They need to feel that love. I try my hardest. I need your help. You can get 25% off now your first purchase when you use code DNVR25.
Hold on,
You can also get 20% off every purchase for life when you sign up using code DNVR25.
Let's go.
That'll get 20% off every shipment that you subscribe to. You choose what flavor, what dosage, when it comes to you every 2, 4, 6, 8 weeks. Check out Strava Craft Coffee, the
Are they
CBD
ready?
enriched coffee. It's wonderful. It's like coffee, except it doesn't have that edge. And you can maybe sort of relax as you enter your morning with the energy you need. Check out Strava. It's a sincere recommendation for me. Changed my life, changed my brother's life, and he wants you all to know that CBD will have you.
Honking like a goose. Let's go.
They do not like when we do that.
You can find out what that means because we still don't.
We still don't
We don't
know.
know exactly ourselves.
So the chat has realized this is a baptism of sports. This is your
Katie
baptism.
regretting her decision immediately. Like, my hands are sweating, you guys. I'm nervous.
yeah, get
You
ready
have
for
no
some
idea.
mom spaghetti.
So I know Katie,
yes.
not a big drinker, same as myself. Like we have so many people that come to try. They're like, I want to try the Rocky, and they're like, you guys are such wusses. This is like delicious,
Yeah, a lot of people really let us know that we are losers.
which we are.
They come up.
Katie, I have a feeling
say
you're
nice things.
also going to be a loser because I'm not going to lie to you. It's not the best. It's not my favorite shot.
Well,
I'm
But
positive.
you are going to endear yourself to an entire
is there anything
nation.
I have to do?
I'm convinced that Rakia translate directly to rough.
So I have to ask this question. Did you guys ever, I saw the TikTok of you guys all taking, not all of you, but some of you taking the shot.
Oh, who took it?
I don't know. I honestly watched it. I watched it like 5 times and I was like, I can't
We know the
tell.
answer. We can reveal it.
The first guy?
Nope.
Andre did not have it. Who had it, Katie? Who had the Rakia?
Did you have it?
No,
I didn't.
she got it all wrong.
Adam
it was
had
me
it.
and Allie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, 2 people had it?
Yeah.
2 people had it.
That was the most
Adam and
straight-faced.
Allie
Let's see
had
good.
it.
I'll give
Let's see if
Allie
you
a
can be
shout-out.
as straight-faced here.
I'm terrible.
Can you give the people of Serbia a Živali?
This is literally for.
Živali.
I just want to say this is for the people in Serbia. I'm like Adam said, not a huge drinker, so please know how much I love you. The fact that I'm taking.
Maybe
true.
get the water
This
for a
shot.
chaser. I'll say that.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not that weak.
Well, I am. I am 100% that week.
How do you say cheers in Serbian?
Živali.
Živali.
Glad
There
you
it
asked,
is.
Katie.
So 1 3 She
Look
did it
at that.
good. Wow,
Stoneface.
It's
impressive.
not bad.
It's not
What?
bad.
A
It's
pro
not
on and off
bad.
the camera.
Stoneface killer over here. It's
that was-
burning
Have
a
you ever
little
asked
bit.
Jokic about this? I mean,
No, haven't.
He doesn't really care for us.
No, that's not true. I mean, what are we going to ask on a Zoom call? Be like, yo, what do you think
True.
of Rakia?
Totally true. Yes. I didn't
Nico
know if
hair
you guys
throws me
had
right
some
out.
connection with maybe his brothers or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
We hope that one day he'll come to the bar. That's our big hope. All right, we're going to speed through a speed round here. We
Oh,
have 2
boy.
games to get through. They're both going to be a lot of fun. The first one, over-under. Or actually, over-munder. I'm sorry, over-munder.
Yeah.
Over-munder. And we're gonna preview the playoffs here in a fun way. Rage timeouts. Are you aware of a rage timeout,
Oh, yeah.
Katie? Okay. Rage. Michael
Very
Malone.
familiar.
Rage timeouts. 3.5 in the first round.
In the first round.
The first round. It's a tough one. That's a great
It's
line.
a great line. It's a
great
great line.
I don't know what to do with that.
Vegas works hard.
I'm going to take the Munder.
Oh, take the Munder.
Munder 3.5.
Do we
range
agree?
timeouts. Yeah, I do.
I do too.
I do.
I
I
think,
think 3 is a solid number. I don't think it's going to be 4.
so. I'm going to say 0 in game 1, 2 in game 2,
Wow, that's bold.
2 in game 2.
I just realized this is
1 in game 4.
I'm going over. I just realized this is a multi-game series. I don't know what I was talking
You thought
about.
3.5 in the first game? Wow. Okay. Sombor shuffles. How many Sombor shuffles? We're going to set the line at 3.5. 3.5
Under.
Sombor shuffles.
Munder, sorry.
Munder.
Munder.
Munder 3.5. Okay.
Again, I'm feeling 3.
Okay.
He doesn't do it all
He
that
doesn't do
often.
it
Like
that
end of
often.
shot clock situations, majority of the time is when it happens. Yeah, I think 3.
You know when he really does them? When he's feeling it.
Oh, boy.
That's
when he
true.
really gets going, it's like,
That's
you know
true.
what? I'm going to show you how in my bag I am right now. One-legged fall away on the
Yeah,
baseline.
you're not wrong there.
But I think you're right. 3.5 is pretty high. He doesn't do them that often.
Yeah.
Katie, the only bad part about you drinking that so professionally is that now I'm catching strays.
You are.
I was just gonna say, I made you guys all look bad.
Yeah,
apparently,
Eric's
so
a bitch all over again.
All right. Speaking of,
I thought we were over this, Chet.
speaking of over Munder, how about Munders? 0.5 Munders.
Oh.
Portland can score the basketball.
Yeah,
Portland
they
score.
can.
That's
They
a
can
good
score.
line. Yep.
0.5 Munders.
yeah, under. I mean, sorry, Munder.
Munder. You're Munder on the
Whatever it's
Munders?
called is getting to
it's
me
got
already.
her already.
Yeah.
All right. So she's going no Munders in this one. It's going to be an
Munderless.
offensive battle. It's not a bad.
Yeah, I
it's a
just
smart
don't-
bet.
You know, if I was 1, if we're lucky, 1.
Yeah,
But it's gonna be. I
Dude,
think
game
it's gonna be
7. If we go to
high-scoring.
game 7 is
that's true.
a schedule Munder.
Yeah, schedule
Scheduled
Munder.
Munder. Okay.
We're going to go with Jokic single game high, 40.5.
Ooh.
Will he have a
Over.
41-point game? Okay,
Over.
over. Wow.
I
40.
think he's gonna have to.
Yeah, he might have to. Yeah.
At least 1. Yeah.
How do you guys feel about this?
41-point game.
I think there's 1. I mean, like they probably need 1 from him.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
You know?
Yeah.
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 Dude, there's more than one. There's more than one. We don't have Jamal. We don't have the guy to go nuclear. It could be nuclear. It could be
So-
Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what's
Could be.
same line? MPJ. Do you think we
40?
see Michael Porter Jr. 40 game?
I'm gonna say
I'm
under.
gonna
on
go
40.
Munder on this.
I like one.
But I'll take
I like
I
over
would
on
love
like,
to see one.
I would love one.
I would love it.
I mean,
Michael
talk about
Porter's
what we want
big
to see.
scoring nights are just so fun. I mean, Murray's are too. Jokic's are like almost methodical, mechanical. They're great too, but I mean,
Totally.
Murray and MPJ are like, I'm on fire and I'm just going to keep chucking
Yes.
it up. On those lines, Michael Porter Jr. made threes per game, 3.5.
Oh boy, this is actually the DraftKings.
This is what DraftKings always says. Yeah, I'm just trying to get gambling
Made
advice from you
threes
right now.
per game in the
In the
whole
series. Yeah.
Dude,
Okay, so I need a clarifying question here.
Yep.
Do you have to wait until the whole series is over and then the average?
Yes.
Or, okay. I'm going to go Munder on this.
Oh.
Munder.
I'm feeling such an over on it.
Dude,
Michael Porter, I
I'm
feel
going
like
Mover, dude.
I'm surprised he only shot 44 or 45%, whatever it was this year. It felt like he shot 100%.
I just think that that's the one thing that Portland's going to try and take away from him initially. So I think he's going to score in different ways.
You're voting with your head. See,
but your head,
her head
also swimming with rakia.
That's true. That's true. I think we should trust my gut more.
Your gut swimming with strawberry lemonade seltzer.
All right, now we're gonna play the best game to close this out. The best game, one of the best games the show has ever produced.
The greatest game.
Is it Winge or Cringy?
First of all, I'm so happy that there's an animated version of me, number one.
There it
in
is.
a cartoon.
There it is.
Number two, people call me Cringy Wingy when they don't like me. So the haters.
The haters.
That's the
The haters.
How would you rate the nickname Cringy Wingy? Is that Wingy or Cringy?
I love the name of this game.
Well, but just the nickname that people have ascribed to you when they call you Cringy Wingy.
I don't know. Am I
Is that
cringy?
you tell us.
Wow, you're being really rude to our guest.
He's being blunt, and I appreciate that.
You're being honest.
I'm just trying to lay the ground rules.
I guess
here.
I'm all in favor of call it like it is. So if I'm being cringy, I guess I want to know.
It's Wingy then, dude. Cringy Wingy is Wingy.
But here's this is on my Twitter bio. Like, my name is Wingy, so all I do is win.
Oh.
So let's hit the game.
All right. For the record, that line, cringy.
Probably cringy.
Bring it up. Cringy.
Okay.
So obviously,
it fits.
Obviously, Wingy means like badass, awesome, perfect, and
we all
cringy
know
is like
that.
the opposite of that. Okay. So Casa Bonita, you're not a local. You don't have to pray reverence to this.
Oh boy, she's never been.
I've never been there.
Yeah, but you know the idea of a Mexican restaurant that has a swimming pool in it. You know the idea.
You think you can't know.
Okay, it is cringy.
It's totally cringy.
But I also never want it to go away. It's a Denver staple, but it's cringy.
It's the cringiest
awesome.
of institutions.
That is cringy.
I need to go. I've been meaning to go. I used to live kind of down by there, and then I just never got around to it. And then I thought that was going to be gone, so then I wasn't going to. Whatever. Yeah, I got to get there.
This is going to get weird.
Okay.
Pigeons.
Why?
Just are they cringy or are they wingy?
Wow.
Are you a fan of
Pigeons?
pigeons?
I once did a a breakdown with pigeons. I think we were in
like an elementary school.
No, for altitude.
This is like a science project.
Oh, is this kindergarten? Yeah,
you had the volcano
last
with
Wednesday.
I'm trying to think. We were in Charlotte, and Taylor Vincent can attest to this. She shot it, and I was like, I don't know. The pigeons liked humans, and I don't even remember what I was doing. I was doing different ball handling drills, maybe, or some X's and O's with. I'll have to dig up that video for you guys. But yes, I used pigeons as my demonstration.
And were they?
They were very cooperative.
Would you call that?
I'm so say they're cringy. They're cringy.
Oh! Dude, that was a real compliment sandwich for the pigeons.
Okay, so great accessories for breakdowns, just cringy on planet Earth.
Okay. 6:30 a.m.
Wingy.
That's what I knew this
You
was
are an early bird.
This was a lot. 4:30. She's 2 hours into her day at 6:30.
Here's the thing. I'm not.
Okay.
Especially people are like, oh my God, you're probably up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, we have late starts, you guys.
That's
so
true.
on days after games, no, I'm sleeping in.
Okay.
But on days where I have time to go to bed early, I love getting up early because my day feels so much more productive when I do that, and that's time that I actually get to spend for me as opposed to working and doing other things.
Okay.
There's a little me time also sometimes.
To me,
we're the same that way.
6:30 a.m. Peak cringy. Bringing your dog to the bar. A very Colorado staple. Wingy?
If I could bring Rondo everywhere with me, I would. Everywhere.
That's such a good name. Brendan's getting ready for you over here. Vogt's purse. Cringy or wingy?
So, my boyfriend I'm not really allowed to call it a fanny pack, but he uses something similar, so I'm going to call it wingy because it's efficient.
Okay, it's efficient. I love the efficiency of it.
If you're really trendy, you've got a man purse.
You know what it is, Katie? I'm not really trendy. I lose all my stuff.
Yeah.
And just to have them all in one place.
If you guys saw me walk in, I carry a backpack with me at all times.
Yeah, I would say that's
a Mary Poppins
Winge.
bag. So
For the record, that was wrong. It's cringy.
It is
It's very
cringy.
cringy.
no way. You know who you should
we didn't
ask
tell you there
if
were-
we had a chance? Will Barton. I bet you he would say
Oh
it's
yeah, he'd be all
I
Wingy.
agree.
Yeah.
And you know what? Actually, I think I'm going to go with Adam's fashion advice over Will Barton.
Yeah.
Good idea.
That's right, baby.
Well,
That's right.
We're talking about Adam's fashion
Look at me.
advice for you versus Adam's fashion
That's
advice
true. That's
for
actually
Will Barton.
true, yeah.
I mean,
That is the most Will Barton-ness you carry.
Someone wants me to know that my purse is actually a 17-year-old drug dealer bag in the UK.
Oh,
okay.
Really?
It's very specific.
Very
with the
How
age.
hilarious! It's so opposite
Yeah,
here.
But, you know what? That's what I was going for.
Yeah,
So.
least likely to have drugs on you. All right, last one here. My forehead on the Serbian Today Show. Bring up the picture here. Can you zoom in on this at all? Somehow they gave me like a fisheye lens on this thing, and it's just a monster 5-head.
No one notices this but you.
You guys,
Dude,
I
my
notice it
forehead
now.
is not that big, but the thing.
This is where I feel like the show is coming full circle because we started by talking about my authenticity, and I
Right.
feel like
Plan
this
these
is a
very
lose-lose
carefully.
situation for me because if I lie, then I'm inauthentic. If
Okay.
I'm honest,
Yeah.
I'm out of the club.
Yeah,
you understand the trap, but
that
you're,
is a
you're
trap.
still
You
in
do
it.
see it, but yeah.
I feel like in this bar in particular, I can't upset Adam Mars ever.
Thank
So it's
you.
cringy. Put it up. Let's go.
He already put it up. It's already. I just didn't say it out loud.
Someone wants you to know it's a normal lens. Move on.
Normal. Let's move on. The move on part really stung there. That really hurt.
I ad-libbed that part. But
all right.
Made it top.
Pulled that
Katie,
right out of his man bag.
You are the queen.
Hey.
We appreciate you blessing our kingdom here.
We stand.
Thank you for inviting me. Hopefully,
come
I get
on.
to come down here and hang out more often.
I hope
and
so.
Check out a couple games.
We'll do an
and-
Avs game.
Oh.
We should all come in for an Avs
Oh,
game.
how we stand. Yes, of course.
Thanks for having me on. You guys are the best. So much fun.
Well, you are the best. Everybody hit that like button on the way out. The likes are all for Katie. They're not for us, actually.
Yeah.
Someone just said, does not realize the key to success is to bully Adam. So I've been lied to my entire
Oh,
life.
yeah.
Katie, you understand bullying. That's what I appreciate about you.
Yes.
Everybody, thanks for hanging out. Tomorrow, we have a very special guest we're very excited about. Softies. But we'll find out. We have great shows again Thursday and Friday, 1 o'clock. We'll see you guys all then.